These three traits are absolutely essential for business success, and we are going to cover them today. Let's get into it. Hey, I'm Anna Powers. I'm the host of the Antigeneric podcast and YouTube channel and newsletter that I send out each week. And if this is the first time that you're catching up on the Antigeneric, welcome. Every single week, I'm exploring topics that can help you stand out in today's modern economy where we are facing three significant marketplace factors: the erosion of the institution, the marginalization of the middle class, and the atrophy of attention. And those three things combined have brought us into what I'm calling the age of fragmentation. And this is not at all an easy place for you to build and sustain a successful business, but it can be done. And the pathway is to become anti-generic. You have to be so fully yourself that no one will ever confuse you for another brand or another business owner or another founder. This doesn't mean that you have to share controversial opinions on social media just for the sake of being dramatic, or even being contrarian. It doesn't mean that you have to cry on social media and try to garner people's sympathy for you. And it definitely doesn't mean that you have to put down another business's marketing tactics to bolster your own ways of drawing in your audience. So, what does being anti-generic actually mean? It does mean running all of your messages through a three-part filter that I created called the anti-generic filter. Now, if you haven't heard me talk about that, just click back to the last podcast episode or the last YouTube video right before this one, the last episode of the newsletter, if you're reading the written newsletter, because I go through a three-part process and you want to run every single piece of your messaging through that three-part filter before you hit send. But also, what being anti-generic means is what we're going to talk about today, which is cultivating these three specific traits that will set you up for long-term success in your business. And we're just going to run through them. I'm going to talk about each one, give you a little bit of background, and show you how you can start implementing that trait today. The first one is discernment. Now, as you are already aware, I am hugely in favor of you learning how to integrate and implement AI into your business and marketing. But you have to do this with the utmost caution and consideration for your clients and your customers. There was a recent Washington State University article that found that 44% of Americans who believe they've seen AI generated marketing content. Out of that 44%, a whopping 42% of them said that the interaction gave them a negative perception of the brand. Okay, so almost half of the people who've seen what they believe to be an AI generated message say that that really left a negative perception of the brand on them. So the fact that 42% of Americans reported they aren't sure if they've encountered AI generated content lets us know that our clients and customers are on their guard. They're actually looking to suss out every time they see a message, they're looking to suss out, is it AI or is it real? And the biggest reason for this seems to be what consumers deem deceptive marketing content, where there are obvious AI tells that alert the customers and clients that an AI tool is generating the messages instead of an actual human being. People just don't like that. So if you're going to use it, you need to keep a human in the loop to actually make sure that it is a message that would come from you or one of your trusted team members. And I do not mean an AI team member. That's one of my biggest pet peeves is all these trainers who are talking about build your AI employees. AI is a tool, an employee is a human being. Okay, so let's just not get that twisted. It goes a long way with your audience for you to actually disclose when you're relying on AI to draft or support you in drafting your messages. When you're communicating with individual clients and customers in a more intimate type of relationship, like one-on-one coaching, that is when it's going to really benefit your working relationship to make sure that you keep those conversations fully human. The bottom line is that you need to be exercising discernment in when and how you use AI in your messaging, as well as in how you disclose that to your prospective clients and customers. Let's talk about trait number 2. And here we're going to focus on adaptability. Those who succeed in this current economic climate must be nimble and quick to adapt. You have probably already heard my story about how I totally flubbed this up and really set my business back. If you haven't heard me share that story, it is the very first episode of the Anti-Generic podcast, the YouTube channel, and it's all about my huge mistake, which, teaser alert, was really ignoring AI and thinking it would sort of fade into the distance, or more accurately, become highly regulated. I have been encouraging you to learn how to implement AI into your workflow. And one major thing you need to be aware of is the fact that while you are learning how to do this, the tools that you're learning today are probably not going to be the same tools that you're using next year, or even in some cases next month. There are a myriad of AI tools being created every single day. So what you've got to do is remain adaptable and don't get too attached to any one tool. What you really are looking to build is the skill of AI architecture. The faster you can adapt, the better. So here are some practical ways that you can start adapting in your business. You have to get ahead of your expenses the moment that you see cash flow decreasing. You need to be looking for business funding before you actually need it. You need to start having renewal conversations with your clients at least a month, and sometimes longer, before they're actually up for renewal. You need to get quick with creating and marketing new offers. Now, some of this advice is not new. For example, before I ever had a business, when I was a lawyer, I had a banker friend who said, hey, right now, before you ever think about needing a personal line of credit, you need to get a personal banker, because you've got a good professional job with a good salary. You need to be building a relationship with a banker. You need to get a personal line of credit. You don't have to touch it, but you need to get that in place, because you never know when you're going to need these things. And it's like in the corporate world, we always said the best time to look for a job is when you have a great job. So you want to be looking for the things that can help you when you're not in a good place, when you are actually in a good place. So the support that you're going to need if you have a down month or year, you want to put that in place when you're having an epic, awesome, unbeatable year. So in online business specifically, the old standard was that you would create one successful offer and you would rinse and repeat your launches for that offer, and you would sell that offer for 5 to 10 years without deviation. You might add a bonus, you might add a tool to it, but really that would be your core offer and the thing that your entire business was run around for years. If a launch went poorly in that old model, you would analyze it from top to bottom. You would find the specific thing that didn't work. You would tweak it, fix that one thing, and run it all over again. Rinse and repeat, again, up to a decade if possible. That advice today will destroy your business. Consumers have so many choices. Right now, if you see an offer isn't working, you need to be very careful about how much time you spend trying to revive it, instead of simply creating a more aligned offer for your actual audience right now. When something doesn't work, and all businesses that are around for more than a year will run into something that doesn't work. So there's nothing broken about your business if you've got something that's not working, like your marketing isn't working, your sales calls aren't working. This is normal stuff. We just don't want to leave things not working. Okay. Don't spend too much time trying to force one particular tactic or one particular offer to work. The third trait you need for your business to succeed is focus. It is a noisy marketplace. There was a 2025 article that I was reviewing on exposures, and it estimated that the average American sees between 6,000 and 10,000 advertisements per day. That is crazy. So when you are a founder, when you are someone who is charged with running a business, you really have to put your blinders on. So it seems counterintuitive what I'm about to share, but I want to tell you, you need to be turning off everyone else's ads that are coming into your space so that you can focus on your own maximum creativity and clarity for your business. When you are bombarded by everyone else's agenda, it is nearly impossible to carry yours out. Now, one way I've personally done this is by going into my Gmail and actually create rules so that, hey, if I want to see Susie Q's marketing messages because she's an amazing marketer, and sometimes I find value there or tidbits that I can apply to our own marketing successfully. So I don't want to unsubscribe, but I'll set up a rule and automatically have all of her messages put in one folder. That way, because she's an amazing marketer and sending 3 messages a day, I'm not getting 3 messages a day as I'm in my inbox, which I need to be looking for important things that I'm waiting on. Those are just going into a folder, and once a week or once a month, I can have dedicated time when I know I'm reviewing other people's marketing messages to see what I can glean from them. So simple things like that that would take you less than 1 minute to set up, but will save you hours of your attention over the course of a week and many hours over the course of a month. Um, I want to be choosing when I'm consuming other people's marketing messages as opposed to just having them trickle in whenever that marketer feels like sending an email. So, beyond consuming other people's advertising, you also need to be focusing in and honing in on who you are following. Okay. This is huge. Ask me how I know. One of the worst things you can do for yourself is to follow too many leaders in your space. There was one year in my business when I already was a part of a $30,000 a year mastermind, and I thought, hey, wouldn't it be a great idea to also join a $53,000 a year mastermind and get around an even higher caliber of business owner who's making 7 and 8 figures a year instead of multiple 6 and 7 figures a year? Let me do that. Let me join that mastermind too. And then I thought, oh my goodness, this great one-on-one coach that I've had a lot of success with a couple years ago has a spot open. It's only another $4,500 a month. Let me sign up. Let me do that. That year, our business profitability dropped so dramatically. One, because of all those huge payments that I committed to. But beyond that, our profitability dropped because I got really confused because the $30,000 mastermind leader is saying one thing and the $53,000 mastermind leader is saying a different thing. And the $4,500 a month coach is saying a different thing. And I was so heavily invested and believed in all of these different mentors, but then they're saying opposite things. And so then you're left feeling like, oh my goodness, am I just stupid? This doesn't reconcile with this, with this. Well, the reality is in business, there are many different approaches that can work. You only need one approach that works. You don't need 3 approaches that work. None of what I just said is meant to disparage or knock any of those mentors. All of those 2 masterminds and that mentor, they were all great. I just didn't need all 3 of them at one time. You need focus, especially if your business, if you've noticed that you've started on a downward trend of either revenue or profitability, you got to figure out who is that one person you want to follow, and you got to shut everybody else out. Choose your leader, follow that one person. And remember that you already have, cheesy as this sounds, you already have the best answers inside yourself. The only reason to choose a mentor is that they've practically done something that you want to do. So they have a result that you want to get, and you're not sure about the steps, like the A to the Z of getting to where you want to be. All of the best insight and intuition you already possess, and no mentor or coach is going to be able to give that to you. They can help draw it out from you, but it already exists in you. And I'm sharing this because it's a bit of a tougher market right now. You'll notice that people are getting really aggressive with their sales messages. They're ramping up the volume, they're ramping up the intensity, they're ramping up the FOMO. And so a lot of these people are really, really good marketers. And then when you get inside the program is not that helpful. They're excellent at marketing, but they haven't actually put the elbow grease into the fulfillment and deliverability side of their business. And so they're great at getting customers, but they're not actually great at helping the customers that they get. And that's happening a lot. And I don't want to see any of the people who are listening to this audio, I don't want to see or hear about you getting sucked into something from any kind of place of desperation or, oh no, my business is going down. Let me try this one thing. When someone is offering that magic pill or that magic bullet, it's probably not going to work. In fact, I had a coach tell me one time, I wasn't looking to hire another mentor, but I was looking to hire more team. And he said, look, normally I'm never going to tell you what to do. I'm only going to ask you questions that help you pull the answers out of yourself. But here, I'm going to tell you what to do. Don't you dare go hire another team member for more than X dollars an hour. And I won't say the exact amount, but it was a reasonable, fee. Don't you dare go hire another team member for more than X dollars an hour because no one is coming to save you. Like, this is something you've got to figure out for yourself. And it was really great advice, because a lot of times our temptation is, well, if I just pay this person enough money, they'll fix it for me. And as business owners, it's really our responsibility to fix our business issues ourselves. Okay, so discernment, adaptability, and focus are those three key traits that you want to focus in on as a founder. And I would love to know in the comments below this if you're watching the YouTube video, or feel free to drop me a personal email. I read and respond to all of my emails at this point. It's Anna@sarahanapowers.com. Let me know, which one of these traits do you feel like you have the most of, and which one do you feel like you need the most work on? Thank you so much for joining me here at the Anti-Generic. Again, I do this show every week, so I'll be back again next week with more tips on how to be anti-generic and stand out and grow your business in today's marketplace. Talk to you soon.